back. I just have one more question about technology. It's nothing controversial. I mean, it's probably come in the last 2 or 3 years, which is the walkie-talkie, the headsets, and what difference has that made to you guys to be able to sort of like communicate with each other properly?
It was very exciting. I remember we've had them, I think, three or 4 years now. When we first were finding out we're going to use them, obviously moving with technology, it was a little bit hard to adapt at the start. Obviously, you can imagine it was a new thing. You've got to brief, obviously, your assistants a lot more to what they're actually the input, because we don't want to be talking all the time. There's a time to talk and there's a time not to talk. But generally, it's been absolutely brilliant. It eradicates the thing of going over a lot to talk. If something happens on the fourth visual, that you go over to your assistant, although we still do practice that. But just for the offsides as well, it does sometimes, like, we've had to adapt, like, you could get a bit lazy. Like having the microphone and not looking over. You know, we've all made a few mistakes with the technology. But in general, it's been fantastic. Really has been good.
And how's communication? I mean, is it a language barrier, or is it everybody's got their keywords, or?
Sometimes I struggle understanding.
Do all the Spanish guys now come up with the proper English phrases so that the punchlines, so that they're ready and you know what they're talking about?
There has been some confusion in the past where, what was it? I thought he said good, but he said, I don't know. There was a mix-up anyway, and I carried on with playing. My assistant was with his flag up offside, so we learn from the mistakes that we do and make sure that the language barrier is no problem.
I mean, I've noticed since they've been in, I think it's made it a lot more efficient.
It has, yeah. And we look more professional too.
It makes you look less of an idiot, because a player will run up to you and he's shouting something and you may have not have seen it, but your assistant has. So your assistant relays that to you. Then you can agree or say, no, it was X, Y, and Z. So that helps.
It looks a lot more smoother when we got the radios in, put it that way.
Yeah, it does help. And sometimes, I mean, I remember going back when the first time I ever used a buzzer flag, and I thought that was amazing. So it's using headsets, it definitely enhances performance. Although when I first used it in Jib, I got a bit too excited when I was running the line as an assistant. And I think I said onside, 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 instead of just saying on, because obviously saying onside with a crackly mic sounds like offside.
Okay, yeah.
So, but Neil, we must reiterate, obviously we always taught to not rely on the radio. They're just an added piece of equipment. And to always do the basics, because if not, you will get found out. And really, like, I had a game a couple of seasons ago. I refereed the final, and then my last game of the season was an intermediate game or reserve game. And for the first time, like 4 years, I went out there without a radio on, and I absolutely loved it.
Without your chest pack. Without
any, it was just, it was very enjoyable. But yeah, it has been a great advantage. Yeah.
Come on, I want an honest answer here. How many of you pose when you see me on the pitch? When you see me by the side of the pitch with my camera, how many of you go, I better turn around and so he gets my good side? Come on.
Finger in the air, straight away. Finger in the air, make it look like I'm doing something.
When you're there, Mr. Wilson.
I do know, there is one particular ref, and he will remain nameless, and he's always like that. He sees me and he's like...
What is doing tonight? I usually breathe in and then get a wad of £20 notes out of my pocket to try and bribe you to put.
Well, it's quite funny actually, because I normally wait for you to breathe back out and then take the picture. So it's always good.
And all these
because you have got some shockers though.
Yeah, well, don't worry. There will be a couple mixed into this video. There's obviously they'll all be on your good side. You know that.
Good.
I'm slightly worried about this. I remember after my Prem debut, scrolling through, thinking, brilliant, it's gone well. No mention about the referee. Straight onto the Sports Banter page, and I see me in the funds code.
So with all this going away stuff, it must be brilliant, because do you get to mix with other referees of a similar standard? For example, if you go away to one of these training camps, do you sort of change notes with the people from Liechtenstein or the people from Andorra, or is it just like specifically for that region?
Seth, you go ahead.
So when I went to Cork, they run 4 a year, and each country will get to nominate every 2 years. So I went with Azerbaijan, Republic of Ireland, Moldova, Serbia, Sweden, Ukraine, and they always invite one from outside of UEFA. And this time it was Mexico, and we're just working together throughout the 10 days in the introduction, 7 days in the consolidation, and like you say, just learning how they do it in their country. You know, everyone has their different protocol and different processes that they might have and different ways of managing. So when I went there, it was brilliant just to learn from them. I mean, the Mexican referees, that's their full-time job. So, you know, they're professional at what they do. So just watching them and working with them, it was fantastic. And then when we go to La Manga in January, it's just us. So working with each other, but we'll get a fitness coach and a technical coach come in from FIFA. And again, that's learning from how they do it in their country.
Is that all of you that go to that?
Mainly the top flight and a few from the intermediate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I have to say, coming from the UK, you're left really to your own devices to train. You probably see your colleagues at matches maybe once or twice a season. If you're in a local RA, a referees association, you probably see each other a couple of times a year. That's usually to have a pint and a curry or something. Moving to Jib, the weekly training, a lot more professional. And the winter camp, I thought I was blown away by it because I thought it was excellent. Really, really good, because it knocks the professionalism a little bit higher. But from a personal point of view, I'm a sociable guy, so it's like all the lads are away, and women. If you've got female refs, we don't have any, but you get everyone together, so you get the camaraderie. And I've noticed, definitely, I think, well, Adrian and Dennis will be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the performances after winter camp must be a lot higher, especially the teamwork aspect, because you're all going away together and you're all learning together and you have a good laugh.
Yeah, we really do get like professionals basically for the 5 days that we're away, and it's an amazing experience. You know, you really do think you've made it. But since we've joined UEFA and then afterwards FIFA, you know, we are given every opportunity to make it to the top. Really, you know, what membership has given us, professionalism, the training, everything, detail. I mean, the radios are coming now. We've just developed in so many ways, so it really is good.
It is really strange that you're still crying out for referees when you realise what opportunities that you've got. Really,
from an outsider looking in, I think it's difficult. Like Jib's positives and its strengths, you know, the community spirit, the everyone's together, is a bit difficult when you're a referee, when you may have to referee your brother, your cousin. You know, you develop a thick skin in this, and it shows their attitude is bad, not yours. I mean, he could have had a stick, I don't know, but at the end of the day, he's learning. And like Seth won't have had a 10 out of 10 game his first time. I mean, he may have. Sorry, Seth.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
But you're learning, and when I used to mentor referees in the UK, I used to say to the two teams, look, you're not going to agree with every decision, but imagine if you hammered your left back, who's 14 years of age, like you've hammered that referee, he's never going to come back next week. So have a bit of a think. And I think in the UK, they want to get some purple shirts. Is that right, Seth?
Yeah, some county FAs are bringing in purple shirts just so parents know that know that they're under 18. I'm not sure that. Right. I don't understand why they need it. Surely, looking at the referee, you know that he's under 18. So I don't understand why. It's the point where there's so much abuse. But going back to what you said, I think obviously, like we mentioned it earlier, Gibraltar's so small. So regardless, you're always going to get someone who might give you a bit of stick. But generally, like you say, you've also got your mates in it as well. So there's always a lot more positives coming to it. I found when I started refereeing, I wasn't getting too much stick, but more after the weekend on a Monday, everyone would ask me questions about what happened in the Premier League, thinking, what's your
advice?
What do you think about this decision, that decision? And I thought that was always a bit strange. You know, do you defend the referee or do you give your honest opinion? Obviously, you've got to be honest all the time. But I always found that. But yeah, like Colin says, Gibraltar's such a small place. You're always going to know people who you're refereeing, but that can also be one of the positives as well.
Sorry, it must give you a lot of self-confidence, because to be out there and to manage 22 people, if you're a shy person, yeah, you can do it for a little while, but it must create a good self-confidence within you as a person.
It does, but I think the self-confidence part, I think us referees, we have to have that quite a high level from the start, because if you didn't have the self-confidence, I don't think you'd be able to last past the first year, which the first couple of years when you're going to get knockbacks and you have to be stronger. Then it develops as you go along, and eventually, like now, people would think, no, but I've been refereeing for 20 odd years. I've got a kid and a wife, and obviously I go to referee and it's like my stress relief. Normal people would think, how can that be stress relief? But it's just second nature now, and being out there, you know, you're the referee and being involved in big games on whatever level, you know, whether it's kids level, whatever, it's you take pride in what you're doing, and we really love the job that we're doing. But yeah, self-confidence, you do have to have bags of it, and some of us maybe sometimes you not come across a bit arrogant, but you have to have a high level
personality.
Of self-confidence. Yeah, and know, like I touched upon the psychology part. Here in Gibraltar, when I go to referee Lincoln Europa, I probably know personally over in both teams, you know, a lot of people. When you get on the pitch, obviously, it's business, and again, you have to get on with it and be confident in what you're doing, because if you're not, you know, unfortunately, refereeing isn't the correct thing for you. But it helps you in many aspects of life, apart from being on the pitch, you know. So that's why we encourage people. If they love football, if they love football's there and you've got a bit of character, come and give refereeing a try, please.
Tim's hit the nail on the head there. You have to love the game, because similar to when you've had a bad game when you play and you're walking home, driving home, whatever you're doing, cycling, and you're running through the game through your head, and you do that as a referee. And when you come off the pitch, you know when you've had a good game. No one needs to tell you. But you also know when you've had a bad game, because not just you saying it, you know, you might be getting stick from someone else. If you don't love the game, then you're never going to stick it.
I mean, I can't remember whether it was last year or the year before. There was a match, and they put an image out there towards the end of the season, and they just went on a witch hunt, and it was predominantly the foreign players, and I had the right old go at them and said, look guys, why are you doing this witch hunt? And they became a bit arrogant, and I said, look, if you don't like it, what we have here, just go and play in a higher division. You'll get better referees and VAR.
I would imagine that anybody shouting from the stands, you're too much into the zone of what you're doing that you don't even hear half the things.
I know I couldn't, and for my sins, I'm a passionate guy and I wear my heart on my sleeve. You know, if I'm annoyed, you can usually tell. I've not really got a poker face, and I'm not sure whether it's what Ken was talking about, but I know in one game I think it was made a mistake, and it's an honest mistake, and I think I saw a few posts, maybe or something. I can't remember what the game was, but he was getting lambasted on Twitter, and I think, you know, whether you're sat on the bog or you're walking to somewhere and you flick on social media, and I kept seeing it, and I was at my wit's end, and all I'd put on was, there's a refs course coming up, sign up.
Yeah, sign up.
Absolutely. And I was getting responses saying, we don't need this, we just need better referees. And I just kept saying, sign up. And I think that's the only way you can deal with it.
Yeah.
Because there is scrutiny, and definitely with social media, every man and his dog is taking photos of things. And it's like your backside. Everyone's got an opinion, and it is tough. But I mean, what I used to say, I remember when I started, I was at the bottom rung. It was, muddy pitch that they'd move the cows off and they'd let you go and play on it. And I remember the first game I had, and this guy who was in his 40s, and he should have packed up ages ago. He couldn't even run. And he goes, "Ref, you are." And I said, "Well, you must be as well, because look where we're playing. We're not at Old Trafford. And if you were playing at a high level, you wouldn't have an idiot like me as a ref, would you?" And then that was it. He just and he laughed about it, and he bought me a pint after the game. And